at last year's GLL Season 2, we could have won it. In the final 1v1, when I lost it, and I knew at the same time that we got 2nd place or 3rd place, I was pretty bad at myself, so I just basically I punched the desk like I would have done at home. It's like an instant emotion that I had, but after that, I mean, people talked with me and cheered for me and etc. etc. I knew that basically it was a team fault. It wasn't really 100% my fault that we got 2nd. And yeah, I'm living with it now. That's it. That happened. So this time we barely qualified for the finals compared to Season 2 where we were 1st online and finished 2nd. I feel like we're pretty lucky, and at the same time we catched up on our mistakes at the end, which made us qualify here. So I'm pretty happy that we're here today. This tournament, I hope we're gonna win this time. I'm ready, basically I'm ready, and my teammates are ready as well. So.
They just came 2nd in the last map we saw in Erangel, the Pittsburgh Knights, and they came 2nd overall at the Season 2 finals, but Karen Kremer and the boys do it. They're one chicken dinner down, actually. So to be fair, it's looking pretty good for the Knights at the moment, isn't it, Toffees?
It's like a return to what we used to see with the Knights, right? They sort of ran this system where maybe they get a chicken in 1 every 6 to 7 games and get consistent placement, and then doing that gets them a win. Well, never really gets them a win, but gets them super close to taking home that LAN championship. And I'm sure at this point, last chance to win an international tournament before we go to Pro League, they've still never hoisted the trophy at one of these, and they've been to all of them. So I think that this is a lot of pressure maybe for them to make this be the one.
Yeah, and I love what Kramer touched there at the end. Was like he was initially annoyed at himself that he made a mistake, but in the grand scheme of things, it was 18 games. You can't isolate one mistake and blame it on yourself. They did make mistakes in previous games as a team, as a unit, individual, other teammates. So it's good that he realized that it was not all down to him.
But you guys have both been in this situation playing at the pro level. I mean, how hard is that to sort of let it go? Like, I'm sure you've both been in spots where you feel like it's your fault the game was lost.
Well, a funny thing, I've been 2nd before. It's a long time ago, but I was in a 2 versus 1 situation at Gamescom with Pony against Andy and another player, I can't remember who it was. And we initiated a fight, and it came down to a 1v1, and we got 2nd twice there. And if we won that against Andy, we would have taken home the 1st at Gamescom. So I really remember how tough it can be, and how much pressure you can put onto yourself, and you'd be really annoyed. But Grama's also such an emotional player that he will, no matter what happens, if he loses a 1v1, that will take them away at the win, no matter how many times it's going to happen, and how bad his teammates were before that, he's going to put it on himself instantly. But him realizing afterwards, being able to work with that, I really respect that. And that game for them with that 2nd place, I think it was like 13 kills they got. That's a great game for them. And they had so many games outside the top 10. And if just any of those games would be in a top 6 instead of 11th place, they would have won it as well. So it's not down to that single moment, as Scum said. And I think they're putting, we talked about it a few times, they're very emotional players. Not like emotional as they're crying all the time, but they're very passionate. And their emotion comes with that. And I feel like they don't have to put that pressure onto themselves.
Now, during the break, I asked our 3 analysts to pick a team that they wanted to focus on. And I already teased that we want Scum to do Liquid Watch, to talk about his former teammates in more detail, because you mentioned to me that there was a change in behavior from Liquid on that last map.
Yeah, in the last game, it wasn't common to see Liquid holding the edge. They were holding the bridge on the north side of the edge in that circle. They were rotating with Besiktas, sorry. And it's quite normal for when you're rotating another team that you want to shoot them down, which they did, but I think they overstayed at that moment. Liquid, I mean, they're known to be a positional team. They like to get into the circle, they like to scout further and get in deeper and to the best possible spot. And I think they overstayed that spot much longer than they should have. They were staying for optic and try to get some free kills, and I think the mindset might have been playing because of the OGN tournament that they played last week, which was all about kills. So that play style of playing edge, holding bridges is most favorable to play like that, and I think that might be affecting them, that they need to start playing a little bit more about positioning.
Looking at those kills on screen then, Scum, are you kind of surprised by that frag count? Jempty, for example, if he was playing for FaZe right now, I'd expect that to be a lot higher.
I mean, yeah, it's only 4 games, so you can't really assume that. But I mean, Samty getting 8 kills is pretty good. Normally it's James on top, but Samty is fragging off.
Yeah. James might get a little bit jealous. They'll have to have words in the bar after tonight's games. Now, I want to move on to you, Avenger. Let's talk about our new kids on the block, Accelerate.
I mean, I want to talk a bit about Accelerated Gaming. They've been doing extremely well here. They've been doing extremely well online. And obviously, you're playing with Rafi now. They played with Rafi and Fake at GLL S3. They were doing really well. But I really feel like they picked up the speed with this new lineup. And I talked to Trifoli before we started here, and I asked him, how do you feel about this event? What would be a success for this event? And they were, and he said, top 5 would be acceptable, but you want to win. But this is really good warm-up for Minsk, because it's really good teams that they're going to prepare. It's also 15 games. It's also 8 Erangel, 7 Miramar. So it's really good warm-up for them going into Minsk, which is obviously the main concern for them going into the future. They need to qualify. They want to qualify for the Pro League.
I mean, they're a team that's picking up speed, but a team that has been slamming it home for a long time is FaZe. Now, they are a little bit, there's changes, right? We're used to always talking about FaZe, but something is big and different. They brought in Uba. He's getting comfortable with the team. They brought Atzi on as a new player, so a 2-player shift is kind of a big deal. And I think that Atzi's really coming to his own. They tested him at PGL. They put him in the worst possible situations to see if he could hang, and came out to a universal, yes, he can. And Atzi, I've started calling him the banker, because this guy shows up at events in like long trench coats with scarves and briefcases. But also, you can trust him when he has to play that outside position, when he has to play that flank to put money in the bank every single time. This guy comes through, and I think he's been a really great addition to this FaZe lineup.
And I think HC was kind of underrated in Method, in my opinion. I think a lot of people in the Method lineup were always about Andy and how aggressive Andy was, and he's like the face of Method. But I think he was the under guy that never got the shine that he deserved. He was always fragging, especially in Starladder Season 2. He was one of the top fraggers
in the
tournament.
Yeah. When you play with a streamer, that happens, right? We talk about like Pat Caps under Drassel with the God Squad for a while. I think HC under Andy Pyro, same idea. You sort of are always second. Even if you're playing at the top of your game, you're always second fiddle. So I think in a team like FaZe, he's really starting to shine and come into his own. And you can see that after their win, he was just, the other FaZe guys took it in stride, right? They all had like the serious, like, oh man, it's just a win for FaZe. And HC was like laughing and having a great time. And I think that that's really showing what the future of FaZe looks like.
Let's take a look at the top fraggers. I have a feeling that some of the FaZe boys are going to be included in this leaderboard. And also the Knights, of course. Texas, maybe. He's normally in those top fraggers, isn't he? He's normally Texas and Drayden are up there. Let's have a look.
Oh.
There we go.
There you go.
FaZe.
FaZe.
I mean, with the 30+ kills, you got to have them up there. And I mean, them having so stable amount of frags, 80 was 6 frags, is also a lot. I mean, he's still fragging out more than a kill per map, which is above the average. But having Samty up there as well with 8 kills, obviously expected when he had that many. But FaZe with 3, I did not expect that going in after 4 games.
I wouldn't want to face Uber IRL. Look at that. Look at that chin. He knows.
That's a stance that says, I'm probably going to be on the top of the kill leaderboard. I need to take a strong picture. So, but he had confidence. I talked to him earlier today. And he's like, yep, easy transition. Mixie said we just got to kind of get him used to our system, but it's a walk in the park because this guy knows how to play. Yeah.
It's been a day of extreme circles, and I'm just wondering, who do you think is coping less well than we'd expect?
Everyone. I think that a lot of the teams have struggled with that a little bit.
Wildcard probably is struggling a little bit. I feel like with rotations and Envy. I think those two like stand out for me right now.
I think the North America in general has been struggling with these sort of heavy rotations, specifically Wildcard. They play flexible, and they just have had a really hard time sort of making these massive hard shift transitions.
And we're going into our final game of the day very shortly on Erangel. And I'm kind of wondering, we've obviously had some slow starts for some teams, NIP, Liquid, for example. Do you think this last game really matters to them? Because we know that they're going to kick off hopefully tomorrow, right?
Every game matters. Right? Every single one of these teams, it's like you said, next game up. So they want to go in and set a precedent for tomorrow. FaZe wants to win and say, ha-ha, catch me if you can. Liquid wants to close that gap, and every other team on the bottom half of the bracket doesn't want to be there when tomorrow starts.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it is kind of important to end the day so you can go to sleep with a good game. So it will help.
So we're going to bring back predictions, I think, before we go into this last game, except for mine. Mine's not allowed. So, Toffees, what's your prediction for game number 5?
I think FaZe wants to set a precedent. I think FaZe is going to take this one home.
Scoom,
I'm going to
Liquid.
vote for Martin and go for Dignitas.
You're going for
Oh,
Dignitas.
brutal.
Okay, because you said Dignitas, I might regret this. Martin, go on. Do your worst.
No. I mean, we talked about the statistic before. We had a CIS win, EU win, CIS win, EU win, CIS win, and then an EU win. So I'm going to go with the Accelerate boys for finishing out tonight and finishing on the top 3 of the leaderboard.
You know what? I'm gonna give myself one because no one said CIS, and I think that actually CIS have really threatened EU today. So I'm going to say Avanga. I think they're going to pull it out of the bag. Don't let me down, boys. All right. I'm angry when I'm let down. Let's head over to Moses and Sims for the final map of day 1 of GLL.
Thank you so much, Frankie. I'm Moses, joined by Sims, and we are here in the last game of the day on Erangel. We've had some good action through the first 2 games on the original map, and moving on through the first day. I mean, we've seen very variety of strategies and a variety of different successes, but we've seen FaZe slowly rising to the top once again.
Yeah, and it's quite scary to think that even a couple of team changes, 2 players to be precise, won't change the dominance of what FaZe are looking like so far. Obviously, it's still early days. We've seen teams crumble at the last hurdle before. Anything can happen on any given Sunday, and obviously we don't have a championship Sunday, but we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so 3 days still to play out. This is the last game of today. Kind of expand what Scoom said on the desk, you know, all right, there's still a lot to be played for, but it'd be nice for some of these teams to be able to go into tomorrow thinking, okay, we got a buffer. If we cock it up here, there and everywhere, we've at least got some points that we can fall back on. So if you go to bed tonight with a decent position, decent placement, you've got to be a little bit more confident yourself coming into day number 2.
And looking at that kill leaderboard, we had a chance to see it. Speaking of how FaZe has undergone transition with their roster, it doesn't seem to be affecting them performance-wise so much, with 3 of their players occupying the top 3 spots, with Fuzzface leading the way only by a hair. He's got 1 additional kill on top of Mixie and Uba with 10. And that's looking good. I mean, AT's picking up the rear with only 6 kills, but I mean, that's more than almost all of Team Ready. They've got 7 on the day, whereas FaZe is now past 30. And that is a tremendous performance from them, just from an activity standpoint, where they're constantly in the fray.
37 kills across 4 games is disgusting.
Yeah, it's a lot of kills.
That's more than what I can get for an entire day of playing. You know?
Well, we're playing at different levels, I guess. I mean, it's
they're freakishly good. It's some of they know the map. I think this is one of their biggest strengths. I've always said this about FaZe. They know that map like the back of their hand. When you watch Fuzz streaming, just as an example, like the nooks and crannies and the dips and divots that he lays in to stay prone and stay alive, and then all of a sudden just peek out, batter people, and go back down again.
Yeah.
They know the lay of the land like the back of their hand. It's absolutely disgusting.
It's like autopilot. They're just kind of cruising around. Like, again, I found myself in Fuzzface's stream as well, and for the times where he's graced us by wearing a shirt, I mean, aside from that, it's impressive to watch. Just someone be so relaxed in an atmosphere and just kind of be chatting, barely paying attention, driving around on a motorcycle, winning game after game with incredible kill counts. And really, when you put a team together of this skill and put them in an environment like this, where even the competition is so high, to maintain that consistency really speaks to how much effort they've put into being the best.
It's probably going to be one of those moments where, well, I say probably, it has been one of those moments where when FaZe was rebuilding, it's like you look out, okay, who do we go after? And obviously they went after the CIS, but they could have, in my opinion, and this is just, I'm speaking theoretical here, they could have had the pick of anybody, because FaZe is a massive... FaZe is an insanely massive organization. All right, Liquid were locked and sorted, they know what was going on there, but FaZe is so prestigious. Everybody wants to be at that level. Everybody wants to play with these guys. Everybody wants to play to the level and be at that expectation what they can be on. They went out there and they picked 2 players. One of them, I kind of, everyone knew that it had to be a CIS player. It was definitely going to come in. I think he's just a phenomenal addition, because I do know that him and Fuzz, when you see them in the Discord, they're always together. They're always playing. Even when he was on Method, they were always playing together and really grinding it out. They're very, very good friends, I believe, outside of the game. But
I think PGL really cemented 8C as the pick. I mean, there was chatter for people like Gustav. That kind of was an option for a long time as well. That was actually close to being nearly confirmed as well, from my understanding. Obviously, we don't have.
He did submit at one point, right?
Yeah, we don't know everything that happened. All we can hear is the rumblings and the rumors, and we repeat what we hear. And maybe how close we get to the truth is always under question. But in the case of that, it was you're not just joining a great PUBG team. you're joining one of the biggest gaming organizations in the world. You're basically, I mean, looking at the way that even we were talking about Fuzzface's stream, when I first started watching him play, he had 15 people watching him. Now he's constantly pulling in hundreds and hundreds of viewers, and if the schedule allowed, it would be more. So joining the FaZe organization for a player like Aidsy, who's young, motivated, ready to grow, it's all up from there.
Yeah, you got to give him credit where credit's due. It takes a lot to play for one of the biggest gaming organizations in the world. There's you representing that, you know, the FaZe clan on your chest. You wearing the T-shirt. They expect results, and you have to put them up. That's a team. That's an org that wants players at the very top of their game. So you have to play up to it, and yeah, they're doing fantastic. They're doing phenomenal. But
on
this
the other
is
end,
only one game.
On the other end of the spectrum, we do have Team Ready, who find themselves in 9th place, but only with 7 kills.
Snoopy's dead. Just to break you off.
What just happened there?
Snoopy's dead. He got shot by an AKM.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, we've lost our first player only 2 minutes into the game. So for Team Ready, they're doing the split strategy along close to what I would consider the tempo split, a little bit further toward the center and to the north. Beautiful Death maintaining his spot there around the ruins, rejoining FaZe. Shockingly headed down, actually away from Mill to Power. They're headed one going all the way. This is a different drop strategy we've seen from FaZe so far. This is looking like they're headed to Sosnovka.
So we've not we haven't seen it, but we have seen it now and again. If the plane allows for it, they have gone to different positions and they have picked up Novo, especially if it was like a military plane, for example, and you're going to have problems where a lot of teams may encroach around Milta Power area. They've obviously opted this time. It's a bit of a maybe this in
testing
maybe this is a safety protocol. Maybe this is a safety procedure. It's all right, lads. We're already at top of the board. Why bother?
Telegraphing.
Yeah, but there's also another point where you say, why fix what's not broken?
Right.
If it's been working for so long, why change it up now? But you never know. I mean, that'd be a good one to kind of, if we, you know, at some point in the interviews, why we changed it up to date. The player may have just allowed for it. They have been playing Nova. It's their backup spot if they have to do some emergencies. We've seen them during the qualifiers coming up to this, but we'll see how it fares.
Yeah, I mean, now it's a question of that first rotation. We are not staying on the military base. We're headed more to the western side, around that middle of the zone where Team Ready was last spotted. Wildcard not having a good first day. They are very near to last place. Has not been working for them in rotation, and even the team fights they've been taking haven't been as sharp as they would have expected. They were completely annihilated the last time they tried to get into anything meaningful. Rejoining a couple of the folks up north, Liquid and yes, Naya. And for FaZe specifically, we talked about this earlier, having a backup plan and maybe exercising it early, but exercising it nonetheless just to see if we can keep teams on their toes a little bit, maybe, if you're FaZe.
Exercising with caution.
Yeah.
If someone wants to try and be a bugger and knock them off, you know. FaZe has been one of those memes in past and previous tournaments. It's like, okay, day 2 and 3, that's where we see the real FaZe. I mean, winning out on game number 1, it would be certainly slightly different to what we've seen in past events.
Bit of a gift coming for Vegas, looks like.
Is that a Pachinki airdrop? It is. Pachinki airdrop extraordinaire. What's he going to get? Come on, Moses. What are you saying?
I'm going to say AUG. I don't think we've seen one yet. Maybe I haven't been paying attention to every single crate, but I'm saying, you're saying Om versus AUG. Maybe we'll be right.
And it's
bonus pick MK. Bonus pick MK. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's a crappy crate. Oh, he's got some of the ammo already out of it. I was like, what in the hell? This one's defective.
I've never seen an arm on screen in somewhere. That's a crappy crate. That's the first time for it.
Well, no, I know. There's only 3 things on there, Sims.
It's just banter.
How dare you suggest that I perhaps had no perception of what could have happened on the screen?
Green Machine in play. The big bad boy is on the map, and it's in the hands of Vegas. Not entirely sure if he had a scope on the back of it. I didn't quite catch it, so we're going to see if his teammates will be calling out for now, and that's what generally you do is if your teammates picks up an arm and doesn't have a long scope, it's like, okay, you can take this. So between 4 of them, you definitely expect it. Avanga.
Pretty early to have anything extra, I would think. But
yeah. Avanga lost initial player on the rotation. It was one of the Gigantin players, unfortunately, as they were rotating through. Did take him down with that AKM, just completely drilled him and finished him off straight away. So they're playing at the 3-man squad. One of the analysts on the desk said Avanga might win this one. It's going to be an uphill struggle, fighting with 3 men down 25%. 30 seconds until the first circle encloses.
That was Frankie's pick, I believe.
Oh, Frankie's?
Yeah, Frankie picked
She's not an analyst, only a host. We'll let her off.
Well,
It's fine. Wait,
I guess.
Okay.
She's gonna come over here and stab me.
More than likely. Yeah.
She's very feisty. As far as I'm just kind of pontificating here about phases. Maybe that they're just trying to keep themselves on their toes, almost saying like, let's run through. We're already on the top of the leaderboard. Let's run through the B plan. It's like it's a fire drill right now, just to see maybe it does not necessarily. Maybe they had a call in game saying that looked like maybe they're going to get contested, or maybe they're just exercising that strategy, see if they get any different heat. To see now they're already on top of the leaderboard. They're having a good first day. We'll see how the B plan works out on rotation.
So your late rotators will. Okay, we'll hold on just for a second. Yep.
I'm a mind reader. I'm reading the body language from FaZe. I'm just going to say I'm right at this stage.
You're welcome. A couple of warning shots. They'll just continue on rotating through, but unfortunately, Red Diamonds have just gone ahead of the game from them. They'll go around the skirt the bottom edge of the mountain, all the way up in the Stalber Hills. We still have Accelerate, I believe. They'll be your boys who's quite late to the game. United over here now, just slowly wandering out of Pachinki on foot. They're inside the circle. There's no reason to really take the vehicles at this point. They might take a quick peek and see what else they can, depending on where this next circle after this one goes. There will be vehicles. I would have thought that. Oh wait, hold up. Okay.
That is Vezixtas arriving, and here's the DP waiting, and Simsy is diving and ducking, but he's not going to avoid those shots. Best of luck going for the flush, but he's going to get return fire coming up uphill. He's trying to get some more shots landed. He's so low on health, and Ultra will trade him out, as Vezixtas will maybe be able to save Simsy as well.
I think that should be a res. They've seen him. Know exactly where he is.
Pop.
He missed it first time.
That's all right.
He's dead anyway.
They're so cautious coming off this bridge. Envy, I think, a bit snake bit, as they've not had an easy time so far.
Which is weird from a team that you know can frag out, and from a team that you know is individually skilled and can do super, super well. But again, playing cautious. It's still early days. I need to stress this enough. It's still very early days. We've still got 2 full days remaining after this map's all said and done.
In this tournament, yeah, absolutely.
And we've seen it before. Anything can change. Teams can flip from the bottom all the way to the top. We've seen teams chase it. We've seen teams fall pretty much at the last hurdle. Liquid are going to be coming into Pachinki, I believe. There were 2 players just on the backside of the garage. Again, it's a nice enough position, but they've got to be wary of teams that are going to be setting up on the back. There is a little hillside where they will be getting punched from. Just on as you come outside of the woods area. Eleganton's going to be the ones in the... It's actually the huts on the opposing side across the little bobbly, really annoying fields to go across. It's like trying to drive across a set of bricks, unfortunately. Throws your car all over the shop. NIP, Optic, and Dig all smashing together, though, around the ruins area.
We haven't seen Liquid get comfortable just yet. They haven't been able to kind of lean into their strengths, which is relying on the skill of Ibiza and Jeems. It just hasn't quite come to pass just yet.
You know, we spoke a lot about FaZe, and ironically they're on screen right now, Moses. But Liquid, this is the domino effect. You know, Jempty was the domino effect of its time. Okay, once he moves, everyone else is going to start switching up. Yep. This is their first LAN event with this roster, and this was supposed to be the roster to kind of really go head and heels above everybody else. I mean, they completely smashed the online league. There was a very large differential.
It was like 800 points or something like that.
Yeah, they were far and ahead. So for them, there's quite a lot of, I think, pressure on the shoulders to perform.
I mean, any first LAN together, these guys are all proven on LAN. Yempty with FaZe, the rest of Liquid obviously with PGI and everything in the bag. It's not like I don't know if LAN jitters are necessarily a factor, but it is one of those situations where getting used to each other in a high pressure, very high difficulty lobby is something that does take time to get used to. But it is Team Liquid. They have the pedigree. Now it's just a matter of connecting the dots, I suppose. Also, pound for pound, blondest and bluest eyed team I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, you'll probably go with that one. It's it speaks volumes, and it also says something. Kind of sets a precedence when you win. Well, excuse me, not win. You come second at a world event, and you make a team change.
Yeah.
It's something else that's been going on there.
Voxic! He's gonna survive, but not for long, as Asverin will find him and continue to spray. Almost taking the head off of his teammate there from Axazor. He's dodging bullets on his own.
Kramer got smashed to bits as well.
Voxic's done.
20% health in the backlines, and he in from a fair distance.
Oh, Maxazor, we've seen it. He's looking Texas. He's like, hey, how are you? He does land the initial shot on Maxi, but Maxi's been hitting shots today. You got to watch out for that M24.
Another 24.
Lucky guy. He's earned it.
I mean, he's had 4 snipes in 5 games, I think, potentially. Like you say, he's earned it. He's definitely done well. Accelerate, they're the last ones to kind of get in on this fight and get in on a position. There is a drop just to their left-hand side if they do want to go and pick it up. They're falling just outside, just short of the ruins. Face Clan for the eyes. And Mr. Fuzzface himself. Circle comes in. She goes towards the east.
This is the Liquid Circle. So they've got the split. They've got Pachinki now not necessarily locked down, but they are definitely in the center of the circle. So we'll see how they set up. Looks like Accelerate's going to find themselves a crate on the northeastern side before they try and make entry, but they'll be going through Optic, NIP, and then Dignitas at the bottom of the layer cake, as Toffee made it so clear earlier. Here comes Iroh. Rest of team ready. See if they can find themselves that double-digit kill count here before the day is done.
Oh, okay. That's a warning shot.
I think that's Optic saying,
Yeah.
hey.
I mean, Trofella just picked up an MK. He was doing super, super well with the sniper in some of the previous matches. Interrogate finds Texas and Kramer. Back to back. That's 1 player remaining now for Knights.
I believe so. And for Envy, it's Interrogate finding 2. I'm wondering how he managed to get 2 instant kills like that. We didn't see the initial beginning of that fight.
It is quite, yeah. Setting up on the potato, face clan looking out
Drayden's
the field.
on the south down there. He's
oh, God, they're
gonna
about to get... Oh, look at that.
Be met with wild card. This is the Knights.
Hi, Drayden.
Winning the first game and facing elimination here in 16th place in the last game. Pop. Nothing there.
You love to see a random shot.
I do.
Just when they're flying across on a bike. We actually, I don't know which player it was. Avenger was casting with D-Man. And it was
the GLL.
Yes.
It was.
That shot up in the hill.
I saw it as well.
Christ, that was a banger.
Yeah, that was probably one of the most crazy shots I've ever seen.
Competitive as well. You love to see it.
Pride, half health, coming to a stop. Boosted up. Play with me, he's got eyes. This is Wildcard once again. He's waiting in the wings. Maybe waiting for the entry into the vehicle. He's going to take the driver for... Oh, he's been spotted 2 my turns. Maybe waiting a little too long in that peak, and Play with me goes down. Wow.
So he smashes him and then gets inside the vehicle. Says, nope, get the hell out of here. We've done enough damage. We've forced them back. Obviously, if you knock 1, you will essentially take 2 out from the team because then you need to make one of them go and get the res on him. So they lose 50% of the team. That gives them a time to do something. Drayden, I think, is that where the... no, it's a bit too far down for the pipe. I'm going to say there's a little pipe that's in Pachinki. It's a bit too far down there.
Here's that replay. You can see Tumai just caught an eye. There was you can see the gun flash, and that was it. Tumai just takes him down. He was like, "Is that a man I see looking at me?" Yes, it is.
Don't you stare at my driver, my Uber driver. Leave him.
No, nice shot there from Tumai. Not going to get the kill. No confirm there, but Unique will get the res.
So this rotation right here, Moses, it wasn't in the blue, but they went up to the northern edge of the Bashikas, and they went all the way around. These guys have come from the west coast and ended up on the east coast, predicting that nobody would be here. They wouldn't have many people kind of encroaching on this eastern border. And there isn't. So that migration has paid off dividends. Look at how much room they have to play with.
And that's what you need in this mid-game situation, some time and space. We're headed towards minute 15. Stand-in trying to get one back for his snipe teammate, but he's shooting at Avangar now. Drayden there. He's the last man for Knights. He's just trying to avoid that last place finish here, the final game of day number 1. And there's Liquid chilling, sitting pretty. They've got a split just on the northern side of Pachinki. They've got United sharing some real estate, not too far off.
I want Vegas to do something with that arm. If the observer's in the back can tell us what, I'll get us a look on Vegas, see what kind of scope he's got on the back of that gun when we have time. That'd be great. See if he's got a 6 or an 8.
2x.
That's what
That's how she goes in the early game, you know.
Anyone got a scope?
He's all right.
Got a red dot there.
A little 6x.
Yeah, that's cool. See, this is why.
There it is. 3x. Switch those around. Pro gaming.
Best observers in the game. He asks for it, you get it.
Show me what you got. FaZe. Kind of slow here. I think this is one of the more favorable circles. There's that. Oh, well, that wasn't him. That was actually Pistola time going down to sharp shot. But he's trying to take some further distance as Pistola does go down. That was perfectly timed.
I saw the logo.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. That's perfectly timed almost. Like instantly, same shot. Getting through the ammo. Meanwhile, Pat Caps is getting into the sniping battle as well. Merkengore getting knocked, I should say. Maybe looking for the finish, and there it is. Pat Caps getting a kill there for Envy, who's now, I believe, got 3. And United, that's Vegas, getting through the ARM ammo relatively quickly. He's relatively low on 5.6 as well, so he's got to be careful with that ammo usage.
Took the words out of my mouth. The only problem with the ARM, it's the best gun in the game. It's the biggest, it's the baddest. You love to see it. Insta-kills all over the place. But
what's this now?
That's another ARM. Oh, that's the same guy. Okay, so trying to take a run for it.
This is Vegas. I'm not sure why he was pressing out like that.
20 bullets is all you get when you get this gun, so you need to try and make every single one of them count.
Well, I'm wondering now.
Oh, it's Pachinki circle.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're looking now. So now it's kind of a crash phase, and they're in the middle of a bullet sandwich here as they try and make their way through. Optic also in transition. NBS. NIP has been kind of getting the rough end of the luck stick here as looks like Fuzzface is going to be going for the initial entry.
How many teams are in here?
So many, and it's hard to find an angle. Fuzzface taking fire, but nothing landing. But AC is going to fall off the motorcycle. Look at that! Look at that jump over. He's got 2 on the motorcycle. That's Mixie and Uba, but they're getting more fire. Mixie's going down, and that's Liquid and Optic getting into it with FaZe, and this is not good for them as they're getting picked apart on the entry into Pachinki.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams all side inside Pachinki. FaZe, they lose 2 on the rotation. Unfortunately, one of them's hitting the back as he does go flying through. The other one got his vehicle, I think it was Itzy, had his tire popped and the vehicle went flying, instantly dead. Optic on one side, Liquid there as well. There's absolutely nowhere to go, and what a gifted drop that is.
Bezikstad's getting
Look at that, he's right on the head. That is so lucky. Now, down south, it's pretty clear. You've got 3 teams kind of together, but the Midlands that they can play off of if they really want to.
I'm liking the Envy split.
Is open.
Yeah, I'm liking the Envy split. But yeah, Bezikstad, so that's now James going down. Hetra and Optic and Liquid finding each other, and that infighting in Pachinki is going to be kind of a factor because there's so many teams occupying that spot. The reses and finishes should be difficult, but look at this. Wildcard getting it from 2 sides as Unique and El Gigantin go at them, and there's nowhere to go. This is, again, a bad spot for Wildcard.
Are they pushing on this? Do they want to take that hill?
Well, Pride looks like he's going to back off as the res goes on to Sharp Shot, I believe that is. Play with me, just running straight. Open field, no cover. Gun away, trying to make distance. What is Unique doing? And
Knights are gone.
Yeah, that's that for them.
Rather unfortunate. Drayden's found on the rotation. He's down, he's dead. Play with me. SLR in hand, I believe.
He's close now.
Vector in the back. At least Vector, you've seen a lot of
Vector
players.
Guy.
Yeah, a lot of players are starting to use this. Samty gets a bullet in the brain from Fawaz. Flies through. Extended mag, I think I saw 25 bullets. Yes, it is. He's trying to get away with it. Tap, 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 tap.
Little hot to trot there, but out comes Sharp Shot. He will trade, however. Stand-in will take Sharp Shot and go for the finish before the res. As Wildcard is just getting shot after shot onto his position, onto their position, I should say.
No.
And Sharp Shot will be finished off. And so will Play with me. So the res does not come. Elgig picking up another kill.
Fortunate loss of nades as well to try and at least get him up there. So they committed a lot of the smokes, the utility being used up. Once again, Liquid's back to 4, but they've had 2 knocks while being in here. Look at the Optic stack. Staring out of all angles here, hoping no one presses them. He United on one corner. So you've got the bottom entrance to Pachinki covered by United.
There's no entering anymore, I don't think.
Top entrance, you've literally got Liquid watching either side of the road. If you do get through there, fair enough. You've got to take on Optic. Go around the backside, you then got FaZe, you've got Optic. You've got all these teams over the field. We then have another 2 teams. We have Reddit, we have Nip just on the edges of by the church side. Yeah, that's...
Well, see, this circle is going to dictate north or south, and that's going to kind of be the factor here is who is going to lose that real estate that they've got. We've got Accelerate, got a lot of time and space up north along with Dignitas. Valiate finding himself again spread from... this has got to be a set... I have to ask them later on if this leaving Valiate on the edge is a strategy of some kind.
Oof.
But we are going to be staying around that Pachinki and southern area. So now everyone in Pachinki doesn't have to do a lot. But now this is going to mean a lot of players alive through the end of the mid-game and into those later phases, meaning that when it's time to leave Pachinki, it's going to be very rough.
It's not crucial at all, but during a bit of a downtime, if the observers can find out exactly what the Victor's got from the crate, what kind of gun they managed to pick up, that'll be nice to know. They are going to have to take a fight in order to get inside this circle coming off the back of the Potato Hill.
Oh boy.
Ibby just waiting, lurking, lingering, hoping something comes his way.
No one has any ammo, it seems.
Oh, Samty's gone down again. That's another bullet to the brain from Optic.
Returning shots. They spot Hetra up in the window. That is the culprit taking down Samty. Samty in the knock state. He's going down quickly. I believe that's the second knock. And it's a mad dash in as Squeaky will find and finish Valiant. So that's just a loss for Optic that I don't fully understand, but maybe that's part of their strategy.
What a ballsy play from Dig. They just drove the vehicles and took
Into the trench.
in the trenches, and now they have a hold of it. Wildcard do have the Harry Potter Tower, Wizard Tower, whatever you want to call it, but Vegas finds
There
his
it
face. The green machine finds its mark. Down goes Kickstart. I think it's the second knock for him now, and that's the helmet removed if he ever had one anyway.
Yeah, well, helmet in the top part of his skull as the arm is definitely. Oh no!
Oh, no!
What? Accelerate, knocking each other both. They've got they've got one man to res, I should say. As,
Panic stations.
That looks roughly as I would expect with the motorcycle pinned to the wall with the U.S. But driving is hard in PUBG, and here comes Mikaz, hopefully not taking down Rustamar. That'd be unfortunate, but Red Diamonds have got eyes on Avangar, I believe that is. Trying to rotate in behind. They don't have
Is that Vegas again?
Vegas found Pride as well. The Om is alive and well for Vegas, as that's 2 headshots back-to-back, both on Wildcard. They've got him pinned in the Wizard Tower. United on the southern side of Pachinki is doing quite well to make sure that everyone's aware that Vegas has an Om.
Quite literally a headache inside that tower. There'll be no helmets whatsoever. You can absolutely guarantee that.
Oh
it
my
will
God.
smash them into oblivion.
This really feels like a South Pachinki finish. It could go either way, but if it does go all the way south, this is going to be a disaster.
It's gonna be
coming out
cruel.
of Pachinki. Yeah, absolutely. Iroh did get a nade onto Empty, and here comes Red Diamonds. They're getting more and more aggro towards Avangar.
Maxi gets a warning shot back. Look at that, back-to-back headshots. Lux 24 finds Master. Caps with a K9, finds Sid as well. Nades go off. More alarm bells are ringing. Get the hell out of here, boys. Pin might get a bit of a decent flank here. He's down below them. If he peeks up at the right time, this could be extremely dangerous. Sid will be getting the res, I think, from the backside, or is he? Nope, he's in a really terrible position. Caden finished
Envy's
that
got a
off.
line, it looks like.
SKS does its job. That line of sight, Avangar will be able to take the hill here, so they can crest around for a while. Really unfortunate. Where did? Oh, Michael, look at. So
They keep going southern and southern.
They've almost done a full 360 on the map.
Yeah, so we're talking about Besiktas now, coming all the way down to the southern portion of the zone. They've got a tremendous amount of space all around them. Elgig in a similar situation, but Elgig's, if they have to go anywhere other than where they're at right now, it's all field. And they have now, look at this. This is great positioning from Besiktas. They've got this hill to work with. They've got a ridge, and they've got all sorts of sight onto Unique. You can see where the smokes are, and they're peppering them with shots. United also taking fire. This is a great positioning and great movement by them.
Line of sight, cover, and more importantly, nobody can get behind them because on the edge of the circle. Maxi creeping.
Oh, hey, how are
Peeking,
ya?
finds one, drills him there. That's the scar, puts him to the boot. Second one will creep the hill, dips his head in for now. Whips out the 20. How much confidence do you have to whip
show
out
me
the
your
24?
face again, I dare you.
Like, usually people would at least, you know, they'd hang around with the AR. He opts to take the 24. Like, come on, then. Bring it on, son.
We're headed south. Looks like United now looking good, but
They got a second crate.
They do. Geist now
just
getting the
picked
benefit. So United is going to have a lot of pressure coming their way as Pachinki now is awash with fighting in the streets. Anuktiv and Red Diamonds still getting after. We're seeing if this will be finished off here, this fight at the edge of the zone. Hello Senpai is a little bit further away, so it looks like Avangar's got the upper hand. But now Besiktas is going to have to make a play on a Unique. It looks like Lux is going to arrive first. I think he's just getting in on the zone first with the rest of his teammate coming in later. FaZe and Liquid getting into it as the empty goes down and out. Stand-in now finding Lux, is going right at him. Stand-in is going to see him, and he will take him down. And this is an interesting play now by Besiktas, having the greatest position ever now in a situation where they have to rotate late in this game, and the circle about to close once again.
Yeah, now unfortunately they're moving into the territory of Avangar, so it all comes down to who sees who first. They do have the upper hand because they'll be looking down upon them. Unfortunately, they are directly in front of them, so it's them that have to move as opposed to Besiktas. There's still a time Purdy Curdy, and there's still a time onto Adam as well.
Doesn't have the angle.
Oh, that's 2 of them down. Ultra at least gets a knock, so that's a pick. Headshot as well, so that's pretty decent.
They're going to have to press the action a little bit here. The Simsy does have the zone, but there's no cover. He's just standing in the street. As now Tamil is trying to make a play on the left flank. Besiktas needs to displace them, but there's a lot happening in this. This is going to be rough. We talked about this. And look at this press. It's Elgig coming out, but that nade comes out. He takes down 2, and now Kickstart's all alone. He's got 1 above, 1 below.
3, he killed 3.
He's got all 3 down. That's indeed right. It's just Vac all by himself. And now it looks like they're probably going to wind up sharing this, but now Vac has to make a decision. Can I get a res? Can someone crawl up to me? Looks like Savage is going to... can he get up the stairs in this state? I don't think he can. There might be something blocking his way. It's a burning motorcycle. He can't get up.
So a team of 4 got reduced to 1 by 1 grenade. A 3 for 1.
Look at this press.
Outside, Maxi steps up there. Simsy answers back to him, at least puts him on his backside, and now all of a sudden it's a 2 versus 1.
Simsy's in the wide open. Best Exhaust has got no position here. Once that smoke dissipates, they're just going for the flushes here over and over again. Avangard's got the zone at their back as well. Ultra's got nowhere to go. This is not looking good for him. He's got only smoke to work with, and the eyes of the whole team looking at him. Unique is also there to catch any stragglers. And yeah, Unique's got 3 strong, and this is not looking good at the edge of the zone for either of these teams.
Hitting through the smoke.
Yeah, that's Ultra down. Unique was waiting, or that's stand-in rather.
Unique saves Avangard for now. At least be able to continue onwards. They will be taking the edge of the bar, but
it's going to come out of Pachinki. I can feel it.
I think it's at the end of it.
Oh, boy. So it's now just United holding on to their real estate. And look at all that. We got most of the teams now in Pachinki having to go south. Liquid has actually made a nice play. They've come south already.
Yep.
They're meeting with Envy in the center of the remaining portion of Pachinki. So this is now going to be tight coming out of the spot.
Now, just remember as well, guys, that they did another crate came in during all this. So Geist will have level 3 armor. So United have 2 players with full level 3 armor. Alo's down. So is Hetra. Trifelli, he falls victim. 2 members of the scout.
Good luck. Good luck with this kill feed.
Here we go. 6 more. He's fallen with a headshot. Bawaka. Rustam the grenade. Instantly kills Dig. That means that they've gone. They're down. They're out. Uber onto Samti. That's the M4 doing the job in the topper end and the highest sig. Now, Liquid already got ahead of the game. They're actually doing damage to players that are inside the circle already. This is amazing.
This is the equivalent of the PUBG rap god, just like you have to read off the kill feed as quickly as you can, but now it's all pressure on the north. There's so many teams. Like, this is going to be insane. Yeah, it's going to be insane coming down here. Optic getting active, trying to find NIP, and this is street-to-street fighting. No one has any ammo. Everyone's got, like, sub 100 primary ammo here.
Grenades out the windows.
That one bounced off a window bar and out of harm's way. He's not sure where it landed, but this is Optic getting after NIP, and it looks like they're getting the upper hand. Optic frag after frag. That's Hypoc and Hetra going after it. And there is, I believe, NIP getting finished. I'm not quite
not yet. It hasn't gone.
There's the last man. It's actually Miracu and NBS, I should say. There's 2 left into the welcome arms of Envy, who's getting after with Liquid as well. This is insane.
Caps onto AB. They did breach, did phase into the compounds where they were. So they managed to push them out. Liquid have had several players actually fall, so not looking in the best of positions. Even though they are inside the circle, they have to accept all these oncoming fights. Kaden and the rest of Envy, all 4 players alive. This is amazing. Uncivil, 24, finds Pistola time.
That's a big frag for United.
Yeah, because they can move up because of those level 3s they had with inside that building. Hetra onto MBS. Miracu finds him and goes back to Optic. Hypoc. Headshots for days.
AKM on the stairs. Oh my God, that would have killed both of them.
Hit from the smoke?
No, it's a grenade bounced off the stairs, would have killed both of them.
I mean, I hope he was going to go through it. That was the problem. Hetra, that's the confirmed kill. That's the bleed out. Miracu's still looking.
Oh my God.
It literally, I mean, whoever takes it, this is the battle.
It's
for
a 1v1 now, I think.
Simple as that. Doesn't have a helmet.
Nice.
There we go. Optic, 14th place. GG boys. Green Wall unfortunately falls out in game number 5. That's
coming out like kill. Oh my God. 6mo goes down. This is Envy now got a line.
It's like a turret.
Yeah, it really is difficult for them to move anywhere as Envy's getting pressure as well. It's Team Ready getting the beat down here is Iroh, the last man standing. He's not in the down state. Miracu there throwing grenades uphill trying to see if he can find anything. Taylor J's taking down Kickstarter. That's Wildcard going down in 13th place out in the Wizard Towers. United still holding on to a very small amount of real estate. They've got Geist. They've got the level 3 gear as now 6mo is down. Avangard is down as well out in 12th place. Wow, that was a flurry, and that was a lot of death very quickly.
Honestly, we kind of expected it. Eleganton also will fall in 11th place as Vac falls victim, unfortunately being up in that Harry Potter tower. Yep. He'll go out in 11th. Uba finds Rustam, M4 drills him. They're still finding. That's the problem. There's no real place to hide. All of a sudden, Accelerate, they've just been fall victim to 3 different teams there. Pack Caps with the K9 takes out 1 member of FaZe, puts him on his ass. Interrogate wants to try and put this through the window. Ibby's there. Nope. Time to run, unfortunately, does just back off for him now.
Now this is going to be even worse because the circle's closing, or about to get ready to close once again. There's only 25 seconds, and this street-to-street fighting is so difficult to manage. Interrogate trying to spray through the railings. That's very difficult to land those shots, and they're going to make this breach onto Liquid. Here comes Caden. Vegas goes down elsewhere. That's a big frag. 1 loss, or 1 down for United. And Liquid's got all sorts of pressure coming their way. They get the entry frag onto Pad Caps and the finish. And Interrogate goes down. Envy's being rebuffed. And just like that, this is coming apart, but it's 1-for-1 trading. This is now a Samty versus Caden situation, I believe. He comes in for the flank, and he will take him down. That's Team Envy eliminated by Liquid.
More importantly, he can keep 2 players alive. He gets these reses really, really quickly. At least be able to keep them 3 as they go into this final circle. Fuzz finds 2 back-to-back. Miraku, he's down. There goes Nip in 8th place. 7 teams remaining, 15 individuals. You just saw that one player just scooting on by there.
Liquid's getting reses. Ow. Not for long, I should say.
One of them falls. Uber, he must have come into the building at the same time. Ibby saw him, and all of a sudden, as he did, running through the streets, guys found him.
We're going to need a map of all this stuff that's Taylor J. Actually, United is still 4 up here. Rustin Mar is still there.
They must have got the reds then.
So I think that Caden just got the finish, and they didn't get the res started, but that's still 2 up for Liquid. They're just peppering shots here out in the open field. This is now unique. They do have the zone, but they don't have any cover. And here's Rustin Mar. He's actually sharing quarters with Fuzzface. He's downstairs. Meanwhile, Rustin Mar upstairs. And the crawling begins. The slow control crawl and the control walk. Everyone's moving slowly. Pistola time. He might have spotted Samty there. Here comes the bounce up with the flash. See, the entry comes. That might be in his face. He's probably blind. He's looking for it. He is blind, and Fuzzface will take him down. Nice flash there, but he's trapped by the zone now. And Taylor J takes down Hello Senpai. The sniping of United, Richard, has been off the charts this game.
Level 9,000 play. IQ 200, whatever you want to call it. Banks it off the back of the wall. Dips up while the player's flashed. Finishes him off. Good play from Fuzz. Keeps him alive in this one. Smoke's now been tossed on the low ball. Give them some kind of a little bit of a wall, anything, just to be able to get out of these buildings, because the blue's on the back and it will crush and it will kill. SLR doesn't find the target on that player.
I think everyone on United has a sniper rifle. Fuzz is basically trapped here. This is his tomb, almost. He's going to have to run out through the zone. He luckily
Priest him and just bomb it.
Yeah, maybe if he's got the boost, but a doozy taking down Taylor J with another headshot. It's snipe battle here on the southern side of Pachinki now. It's unique, and United kind of tangled up Fuzzface playing. Oh my God, Vegas taking down Samty with the once again. Vegas a massive factor in this game.
See if we can find any more in the field. You'll see them running through. Heads just skylining on the ridge there.
He's been finding them. Samty getting res once again. Liquid holding on.
So both of those players in that building are rocking level 3s. They can just hold everybody inside Pachinki. Pachinki was the place to be, and now it's just proving to be an absolute tombstone for these players. FaZe goes down, 4th position. Fuzzface, he hits the deck. We're into his top 3. Now Liquid have to run the gauntlet. 2 individual teams just firing down upon them, raining and just a Hail Mary, a hellstorm of bullets.
I think he spotted the backpack of the last man, Ibiza. Vegas there. He's been big in this game. 7 kills across all of United. It's been a terrific and a little bit lucky with the crates as well, but they've been using them to maximum advantage here. Ibiza has found a bit of cover and the zone. So now this is setting up to be United versus Unique, and I think that unless Evie plays a massive spoil here that... Oh, that's Taylor J going down. I was going to say United might have an advantage, but not with this start.
Are they going to push on that? That's the bigger question.
I don't think they can. That's a huge open push. Rez coming. Vegas again peeking. Looks for one. Saw a little bit of a glimmer there, but nothing landing. Oh, did he spot a backpack? I think he did.
Saw something.
Oh, wait. No, wait, maybe not. He just put a little bit of pressure there. Vegas just wants those headshots. Oh, there he is. I was going to say. Meanwhile, EB stabbing himself with a syringe.
Keep me alive, please.
Oh, there he
EB's
is.
got one.
But he got traded immediately. He took down Pistola time, and the res may be coming.
The question is, does this open a gap? Is that the pick that Unique needed? Unique are moving. They are moving on the
Here
map.
comes
They fancy it.
They're getting a little bit more pressure. This is the last zone, and they have no cover to work with. United does have a bit of an advantage for cover.
I respect it.
But they're looking so strong here. They're pressing further and further.
Oh.
Not sure on the position of the back guy though. That's tough, man. That AWM is in play, and that's huge.
They did have level 3.
There it is.
The SLR comes through. He was tagged up with the AWM. It did its job, and now he's allowed to finish him off. Pistola time moves up.
Close
Master's
AWM.
just next to him. He needs to watch this player just on that dip side. He's been caught out, though.
Pop.
Binds his head. Cracks his skull. Aduzi's down. Now all of a sudden we're in a 2 versus 3. In the backline, Jice goes down, though.
Vegas maybe have to put the AWM away pretty quick here. Taylor J also low health. This could be very. Oh, he found him through the grass. Masturbator goes down. I can't believe I had to say that, but Vegas gets him with a headshot with the AWM, and he will get the finish as well. Vegas grabbing that game all by himself almost, as United will take the victory here, the last game of the day.
Vegas, dreams are made in that city, and I tell you what, he's the dream maker in map number 5. What an absolute banging performance. with that AWM, putting it dead to rights, player after player, body after body. What a phenomenal job from E United.
A terrific game, and on the back of that AWM play, you said at the very beginning it's going to be a factor as soon as the AWM comes in. And wow, that was the MVP right there for me, was Vegas, just absolutely dominating. But for Unique, I mean, they played that open position as best they could. They just had no cover to work with. The smokes were down. They played aggressive, but wow, that's the E United that we've seen in the past and hope to see more of in the future.
I'll give credit where credit's due. It was definitely the right player from them to be able to, you know, get the knock and say, okay, let's push up now. Let's box them in. They have the blue on the back. They're the ones who have to move. Get up close and personal. They made it halfway across the playing field. They did stand the ground, but Vegas, sweet summer child, to be able to find that headshot through the frigging grass.
Yeah, that was insane. I mean, I didn't see the angle that he was able to grab, but that was an insane shot. We saw headshot after headshot, and I mean, that was a terrific game. That's it for us here. Richard, it's been terrific. We'll be back tomorrow for more games, but for now, we're going to toss it to Mustache Dave, who's got Vegas and Pistola time standing by.
All right, we are here with the final winner chicken dinner celebratory victory over here on the main stage from E United, and with Vegas and Pistola time after what a fantastic game. So let's go over here. I got to ask you, what was the turning point for your squad that game?
Basically, we got the middle of the circle first circle, and then it shifted away a little bit more east toward Pochinki, but we knew that Pochinki was still free because we just looted there. So we just took it, and we got lucky and got all the circles, but we did what we had to do.
So were you guys like the first squad in Pochinki, maybe?
Oh, we weren't the first one. No, there was another one, but they weren't in the center. They were more in the middle of Pochinki. So they were not on the edge of Pochinki, which is what we tried to do there.
So you guys kind of knew that some squads were in Pochinki. You kept seeing the circle kind of favor Pochinki. At any moment where you guys just like, man, we are going to get bunkered down in Pochinki, like kind of sandwich, you know?
From the very beginning, I knew that the circle typically ends in between some point in the south Pochinki and the tractor to the south of it on the road. So from the very beginning, I wanted just to hold the corner, like the corner of the Pochinki right where we could leave for free, because I knew everyone's going to crash Pochinki. So I knew if we could just hold the south side, we only needed like 2 buildings, and I just wanted to hold south, because at one point, I think there was like 45 people in Pochinki. So I just knew we had to just don't overextend and get greedy. Just if we just sit here, everyone else will fight, and we can just be the last team out of Pochinki. And then it ends up being a 4v4 versus the team that was the only team that was not in Pochinki, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you guys saw them out there. Did you know their position because they were taking shots, or how'd you know?
We knew at least 3 were there because they were peeking us earlier in the game. So we thought it was 4 because I think someone called it was 4, but they must have lost one. And then I forgot who it was, but I think it was Ibiza was behind us who knocked one. It almost threw us off really bad.
So going into this game, what were your placements? You guys were like, I know before Game 4 was in 13th place. This game, what was it?
We were 13 on the last one. I think we got 7 on the first one, 10, and then, just a good win.
So with these kills in that chicken dinner, where do you guys see yourselves? I mean, we'll find out in a moment, but...
Probably top 8, I'm guessing. Because I know the bottom leaderboard, like outside like top 5, is like really close, like 200 points we were looking, but I don't know the exact points. I wasn't really paying attention to this.
So after day 1, how do you feel about your squad?
Pretty good. We started a bit slow. We got some weird circles on Miramar. But on the 2 last game, we were more like shooting people, we're fragging out, so that just raises the morale of the team, and that's exactly what I wanted for the first night, yeah.
So last question here. I'll let you guys get back to it, all right? Great win, by the way. Going into tomorrow, what type of improvements can we see from E United?
Well, we played we always had the best position in first circle, the first 3 games. And our issue was we were just we'd get the best spot in first circle, and then we'd hesitate and take something bad in the second circle. So we'd always had the best first circle, and then we transitioned the last couple games into playing a more aggressive play style, just staying live as 4, because there's so many people alive in these later circles. So it's really important to keep 4 alive. So we, instead of just risking it and going for something center, we've just been more so taking what we can get, as doing whatever we can to get the best spot and equally getting 4 up. So if you got to keep 4 alive as long as possible. I kept saying over and over again, come back. We need to keep 4 up for later. So that's just all you got. You have to keep 4.
Hey, congrats on that chicken dinner, gentlemen. Hopefully tomorrow we'll see some more. So that's it from us on the main stage. Let's see what Frankie has to say at the desk.
I've got to
That was the thing.
applaud that twirl. A twirl and a half from Mustache Dave. And that's not all from Mustache Dave, because stick around after the end of tonight's action, because Dave is going to be keeping that party going with his new late night chat show. But for now then, Vega's clearly the MVP of the final map of the day, taking out Samty. I mean, he's got to be pleased about that one. And Toffee, as you always said, right, E United were your dark horse of this competition.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, I said at the very start of the day, I watched them play last night at Wingman. They felt super comfortable. They're my dark horse to do well in this one, and it's super exciting to, A, see them come out on top, B, see them to do it with an AWM, which is the game-changing gun as far as I'm concerned, and we saw how effective that was in the hands of a fragger. But they did it right. They basically, you saw them holding the edge of Pachinki. They didn't go deep into it. That I was even calling for a collapse, but they very smartly stayed in 3 separate buildings, locked out that corner of the compound, and played effectively. And that's what it came down to. You heard Vegas say we kept reining people in. Pistola, who's taking over sort of the captain duties once Vegas leaves, describes Taylor J as passionate about fragging out. He said, this is a guy that you constantly have to remind not to go crazy. You have to say hold back. And then when they got to go against Team Unique, you could see the moment that Pistola said, you know what? Do your thing. And all 4 of them played very, very well in that sort of unique throwdown with them.
And that's exactly what you need in someone in your team, someone to call those aggressive players back. Because those aggressive players sometimes just, they tunnel vision, they become public mode, and they just want to get kills. But like Vega's saying, keeping 4 alive is way more important than getting 1 kill. And he called them back, and that's a perfect thing. And playing the edge in Pochinki is really good for them. A lot of teams try to go in the middle of Pochinki, but the way the circle algorithm normally works, it normally goes outside of Pachinki, so the corners are the best spots. So you saw Liquid, they had the north corner of Pachinki, and you saw E United had the south. Unfortunately for Liquid, it did shrink south, and at that point they just have to push compound to compound, which they did really successfully, but at the end it was just too much, right? Another team that was pretty impressive that we spoke about in the green room was that Team Unique holding the tractor. We thought at one point they went too early, and normally you do get trapped in that tractor because you get pushed from teams in the south. But something that I really appreciated what they did was they became proactive. They knew their weakness was getting pushed, so they just pushed back. They pushed back at Besiktas, got a kill, and then third party the fight between Besiktas and Vavanga, and that secured them the whole of tractor.
Yeah, and you can also hear how analytical Vegas is. I want to remind you, he's 17. You can hear. Yeah, I know that the circles goes here and here. I want to take the southern side of the circle because we're center there. Like, that's just analytical perspective, in-game leading capabilities, and a 17-year-old is just insane.
He's very mature. He's one of those players, even though he's not going to be in the Pro League option, he said, I want to build my brand. He's focused on how doing social media correctly, managing a Twitch stream. He's lost, I think, 15 pounds over the last month to sort of create, to make a better player and a better person. And to see that kind of commitment is really impressive in somebody that young.
Yeah, absolutely insane. And I on top of that, we said that we saw the statistic that you won the first game CIS, EU third, and CIS. And
right, EU was due for a win.
EU was due for a win, but I mean, they fragged out and they got the win here in the end.
Even when NA gets a win, you've got to attribute it to EU.
Yes.
No, but I mean, this was perfect for me because every region got a chance to come out, take home a chicken dinner, and sort of leave day 2 wide open. So that's optimal. You want to see day 1, from my perspective, be really open for anybody to get involved.
Talking about teams that weren't able to get involved, Scoom, you actually noticed very early on into that game that NIP having difficulties today, and you think you might have cracked the case.
Yeah, they seem to be a bit surrounded by Team Red Diamonds. Team Red Diamonds is looting the hospital and the containers just east of them. So they're basically kind of a little bit trapped in South George. So that makes it hard because they need to wait for Red Diamonds to rotate earlier, or they rotate past the west side of the island and have to do a long rotation. So this is probably affecting them because they might want to rotate a bit earlier, but they can't.
Prior to warm-ups today, they were in a really good position. Ninjas in Pajamas to go into this tournament because nobody was doing the Gakka spread. That whole south area was wide open, and that's where Ninja's biggest struggle is coming south out of Georgia Pole. Once E United claimed Pachinki for themselves and Red pushed over, it just, I mean, they've had a real hard time making any rotations or any adjustments. And I think tonight they'll adjust. They don't do traditionally well on day 1. Day 2 is where I think they're going to come in and maybe make some people pay.
But the question is, though, who's going to take that spot now? Are Red Diamonds going to stay there? What are we going to see NIP do tomorrow?
I mean, NIP needs to punish them, I think, and push them out. And we used to joke that, like, once you see the second player of NIP, it's too late because that means there's a flanking group behind you and someone's going to take you down. They're not doing that aggression. They're not forcing Red Diamonds to pay for being willing to say, go to hospital with 2 people. I think tomorrow, come in, say, listen, you want to split 2 and 2, you got to deal with our 2 and 2, and we're better every single time.
Yeah.
And Skoom, the thing that I was interested there was, it's the most central circle. It's the most conventional, traditional circle that we've seen today. And yet then it came down to a city shootout. And all of you were like, well, actually, this isn't good, Frankie. This isn't actually what the players are going to want right now. What is it about being in those compounds that makes things so tough, Skoom?
Because Pochinki is a relatively big city, which, as you saw at the end, it can fit up to 16 teams, technically, because they can all take one compound. So it becomes a little bit more RNG, because wherever the circle ends up being, it eliminates a certain rotation skill from teams, because it's a city fight. But some teams do benefit from that, like they like the aggression, they like team fighting. We saw Team Liquid, they're fighting Envy, Samty with the balcony jumper, just clutching it out, because they like fighting in cities themselves. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough, but that's a season 1 PUBG circle. It was always central. 1 year back, we always used to see Pochinki endings. It was so common. So nowadays it's become a bit more common these days, but it's been like in the past 6 months or something, it's been not so common. But in the past, I think around a month or so now, it's becoming more of a thing. And you see teams like United, they're holding the edge of Pochinki, Liquid holding an off edge. It's becoming more common to hold those angles.
Well, given that Knights went out first in Map 5, I'm really curious to see what's happened to the standings. But first, let's remind ourselves of Map 5. So E-United, of course, how could we forget, coming in top with that chicken dinner and a really impressive 10 frags.
It wasn't impressive. They earned it. I think part of this, though, is while Unique was proactive when they were pushed early on the tractor, I think that they were lackadaisical about getting out of the tractor when the time was right. And there was a period where United was being pushed by Liquid from behind and had to deal with a couple of threats. And if Unique had taken that little compound that Edge sort of housed, then they might have been on the top of that podium. So I think maybe Unique helped them a little bit by playing defense instead of offense.
I have to confess, boys, I'm a little bit disappointed by Wildcard Gaming. Are you surprised that they're having such a tough day, Avenger?
Honestly, I feel like Wildcard Gaming, they could be one of the teams that kind of have land jitters. On top of that, they are kind of scouting for their 4th player right now because Kickstart is not old enough to play in the NPL and not in the NPL qualifiers either. So they have been playing with other players. They have been playing with Extreme 2G, for example. They've been playing and testing out a lot of these players. But I feel like they are not a team that's going to have a great day 1 either. Because obviously it's a long time ago since they have been there, been to a LAN. But look at this as well, in the bottom there, but that's really, like, I mean, they can improve, and I believe they're going to be able to come back tomorrow.
I mean, them and El Gigantin, almost inexcusable, surmountable odds to come back for. So they need to have a really big start of day 2. The guys in the front, FaZe and Unique, are up by over 250 points, so that's going to give them a really nice cushion to come in tomorrow and make a few mistakes if they need to. Everyone else in a dog pile.
I'm just curious about what makes CIS so comfortable here in Stockholm. I have no idea what it is.
I think it's just a GLL. They just seem to be really comfortable in GLL, and they always do well. It's not because, I mean, the first season was in Bucharest, so and that's where Navi won. So I don't know. It's just something about GLL that they just like to shine.
Well, we all like GLL. We all love to shine here, and we've got 2 more days of it. But before we go to the brand new late night show with Dave, I want to get your final thoughts on today's action. I'll come to you first, Avenger.
Honestly, extremely excited to see these teams battle out. Kind of not disappointed completely, but I really expected some of the teams that are here to perform a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised to see Waka down the bottom, but if they get a great win, like 1 good win tomorrow as the first game, they're straight back in top 6. But there are some of these teams here that didn't perform as well as I hoped for them as well, but also expected them to perform better. But we'll see. I mean, it's only first day, right? So we're going to see tomorrow.
Let's go.
Yep. I think we're seeing a lot of new blood in PUBG. I think the scene is developing a crazy amount, and we're seeing it this season specifically. I mean, you do see FaZe obviously first place, but apart from FaZe, we're seeing new blood in terms of Team Unique, United, Accelerate Gaming. They're all showing that they can hang with the top dogs.
FaZe.
For me, today was a story of circles, all right? We had a lot of unique things happen. We had our island circle. We had that layer cake circle down by the quarry, which we don't see very often. We got to see a good old-fashioned Pochinki tractor circle. So I think the teams need to learn from today, but also let some of those bad performances slide off their backs, because we saw a lot of things we don't normally see in terms of how these circles go. You can't train for urban warfare in PUBG. There's no way to really simulate that effectively in scrims. So that last game, for instance, a lot of those teams did okay, but they don't know how to fight their way through that city without losing people. It's almost impossible.
Well, you heard the man. Tomorrow is a new day, and you won't want to miss a moment. We'll be back at exactly the same time tomorrow. But do not go anywhere, because after this break, the man himself, the finest facial hair owner in all of esports, nay, probably this country right now, Dave himself. It is the Late Night Show with Dave, and it's coming up after this short break. Us lot, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, easy. West. One guy. Down over. Right here, yeah. Right here. I'm shooting the fucking car. Nice. Really good first one.
Он ползет. Двое слева идут, двое.
Они будка с хитами.
За будкой. Трое.
Хорош, один остался.
Все, дохавать его.
Где?
Ебать,
За будкой, там же
за будкой. За будкой. И за КП запихни.
Легко,
Туда.
блядь.
Дай 5-0 киллов. Ой, блядь, самый ценный игрок, нахуй.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's 1-1.
He was shooting from the smoke. He was crawling to the smoke.
Yeah, it's 2 solos now. One on our left.
There's optic in the smokes.
In this smoke.
He's
Running left.
Yeah, in the smoke.
One more on our left now. Yeah, 4. There we go. Good job, boys. Let's go, boys. Good shit.
Они встретятся снизу друг с другом.
Маке был?
Если что, потом вдвоем прыгаем.
Хорошо.
В конец зоны, один
Флешка.
стоит сверху.
Смотри, ползет. Сольник.
Найс.
Закрыл Сольника слева. Нокнул.
Хорошо.
Я в сейве.
Поднимай.
Сольник остался.
Риса,
Двоих нокнули.
Спокойно, Васек.
Да!
Это изи, блядь.
Кулачок.
Мейт. Works.
I see the TK. Guys, I'm healing 3.
I know, I'm healing quick and then
Someone drop me a first aid. I have 0.
He's on the left. He's going at the 3. Southeast.
Finish tree.
Southeast.
I need a first aid.
Dropping it right here.
Back one.
Last one's in the field,
Don't
right?
res me. Don't notice.
Was last one in smoke?
He should be prone in the smoke. Right in front of me, all dead.
Nice job, boys.
That's not bad.
Let's go.
Not bad.
Fucking go.
Bro, you guys carried me that game.